SoundCartel.
From SoundCartel, I'm Nicole Goodman, and this is Business Essentials Daily. In the lead up to this weekend's election, here at Business Essentials Daily, we'll be bringing you key industry insights and a survey of the economic landscape. Today, we discuss the election and the issues surrounding it with the CEO of the Family Business Association, Catherine Sayer. Catherine says that although family businesses make up about 70% of Australian enterprises, they're still largely invisible in the national conversation. She sums up how she's addressing all of that to Jeff Waters.
Well, it certainly seems to be a fairly frenetic lot of activity in the lead up to the election, Jeff. But maybe taking one step back, we gave it some thought quite some months ago in terms of what would we like to see from a government at a federal level from a family business perspective. And it really boiled down to four things. The first one is around collection of data. So there really isn't a mechanism to accurately collect data on family businesses in Australia. And whether it be through the census or some other system through the Australian government, it would be really good to collect data so that we really understand exactly what's going on at a family business level in Australia. So that's one thing.
Well, before you go on with that, Catherine, it seems ridiculous or crazy that a sector that is so large, I think it's 70% of all Australian businesses are family businesses.
70% of Australian businesses, absolutely, and 50% of the workforce.
And we have not been collecting data on that.
So this is one of the issues that it is such a big and diverse sector across all different industries, small, medium and large, that it almost is too big to be considered a sector. So one of the things that I'm working hard on is to actually describe the family business sector as a sector, because until that resonates, then the impetus for collecting that information doesn't really exist. So that's a bit of a work in progress and something that I am certainly spending a bit of time on. So we do have old data, but we actually think that it's such an important sector that if we've got more information about the sector, then that is better for everybody. So that's one of our asks.
All right.
Interestingly, and South Australia kicked this off a few years ago in the state election in 2022, where a minister was appointed for small and family business. In the recent Queensland election, there is a minister for small and family business. So we would love to see all other states adopt that as well. But importantly, in the lead up to the federal election, have a minister for family business. Might be a big stretch. So if we at least get connected into the business community with small and family business at a federal level, that will really turn the dial. So watch this space.
How much of a response have you had to that?
I haven't had a big response, if I'm really honest. We've written to a few of the politicians, but I also think it is a work in progress. We're starting from pretty well ground zero in many respects, so it's about continuing to reinforce the message. Really pleasing to see South Australia and Queensland both with a Minister for Small and Family Business. So that's another ask that we're keen to see hit on the table. And really, if you've got someone representing your portfolio in cabinet that is, a sector like family business, then it has to be considered. And so that would be a massive step. May not happen for this election, but that is something that we would really like to see into the future. So we've also got the Australian Small Business and Family Enterprise Ombudsman, and with family enterprise in Bruce Bilson's title, you would think that it covered all family businesses, but in actual fact, it's only for those up to 100 full-time equivalents. So there is a review going on for ASPFEO, but we also would like to see that FTE count is actually just taken away. So it's all family businesses or family enterprises, as they refer to them, not just those that are under 100 FTEs. And then I suppose all of those things wrapped together, just being recognised, so when policy decisions are being made, that we actually have a seat at the table, that the politicians come to us and say, tell us what the impact of a particular change in legislation or whatever would make to your sector. Because I honestly believe there's lots of unintended consequences. But again, if we're not communicating that message, then how do I expect politicians to know what some of those unintended consequences are? So very much look forward to having engagement with a new government, whatever that makeup is, to really make them understand the significance of the family business sector and how we can work really effectively together.
So when you're doing advocacy for family businesses, do you have to speak to the small business minister?
Yes, we do. That currently, Minister Collins is the one that we would communicate with. Interestingly, in opposition, Susan Lee's title is small and family business. So opposition has the word family at a federal level, but the current government doesn't. But again, that's what we're encouraging.
With the policies that have been rolled out so far in the election campaign, how do you rate the two major parties?
Look, I've actually been out of the country for the last 2 weeks, so I've got a lot of catching up to do. I think, broadly speaking, though, there's obviously a big focus on cost of living, which all voters are affected by the cost of living. So that is an appropriate focus to have. I suppose increasing the recognition of small and family businesses, if we put them together, that's over 90% of the business community if you put small and family together. So I would like to see both major parties and in fact any of the independents seriously think about how they can support family businesses.
Are there any stars out there that you'd like to point to?
Any stars in terms of politicians?
Yes, people who are particularly supportive.
Look, I think it does vary a lot. As a general rule, if you've got a politician who comes from a small and or family business background, or let's say specifically family business background, they have an enormous amount of empathy for family businesses. So rather than identifying one, what we do find is those that understand how family businesses operate and also how important they are to the economy and the community, that's where it comes into play that they've just got more empathy.
Well, given your 70% figure, there must be proportionally quite a few politicians who've been involved with family businesses. Another topic that has been an issue, of course, over recent years, and it looks like it might be easing off, interest rates. But, of course, we've got this whole tariff thing going on, which may lead to further inflation. So do you have any concerns there?
Look, I think we're in global turmoil at the moment in a fairly unpredictable environment. So it literally is a day-by-day proposition. Occasionally I talk to economists and they're sort of saying to me that, yes, it's very turbulent right now, but by the end of the year, we should see that things might settle down a little bit. Interest rates clearly have an impact on all those mortgage holders and those that have loans. Those people that don't have those loans and don't have mortgages or business loans and mortgages, they're less affected by interest rates, clearly. So interest rates affect a certain proportion of the population, not everybody. And I think we do need to remember that. However, I think take everything as a day-by-day proposition. Don't panic. I think, again, family businesses specifically have these very long-term approach to business, and often they're multi-generational. So it's not sort of the short term, what do we need to do today and tomorrow? It's a much longer horizon that family businesses look at.
That's Catherine Sayer, CEO of the Family Business Association. This episode of Business Essentials Daily is produced by the team at SoundCartel. Thanks for listening. I'm Nicole Goodman. We'll bring you more Be Daily tomorrow. Follow at BE Daily Podcast across social media and head to bedaily.com.au for more from the Business Essentials Daily podcast. SoundCartel.